Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are reacting to episode 41 of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I'm about to move the camera slightly, so if there's any wobbling, I do apologize, but it's annoying me. I could see that it was slightly off of where I wanted it to be, and I was like, I need to tentatively move this. Last episode, we got some big plot reveals that I would have never seen coming, such as Hohenheim being a Philosopher's Stone, because I didn't actually clock that a Philosopher's Stone can be a person. I thought that it had to be a material. It never crossed my mind that a person could be a Philosopher's Stone, which is just absolutely wild. So we now know the origins of Hohenheim, how Hohenheim gained immortality, Hohenheim's connection to Xerxes, his connection to the father, which is essentially a homunculus born of his blood that then goes on to gain immortality himself and spawns the other homunculus. One of the things that has been coming to mind quite frequently with the show is if this is supposed to be sort of an allegory for original sin, if the pursuit of knowledge has led to the sin that has entered the world and all these catastrophes that have happened because we have reached too far, reached too high. It feels like that's what the allegory is. Maybe I'm really late to the picture. I knew that there was obviously Christian symbolism, which is very evident from the fact that it does wrestle with the idea of religion and its relationship with science, but also the fact that all the homunculus are named after the seven deadly sins. So it was very on the nose, but seeing the previous episode and this pursuit of knowledge, this pursuit of truth that has then led to these catastrophic devastations within the country originating from this pursuit of knowledge seems like it's alluding to original sin, how sin entered the world and created a situation in which humans had to suffer and struggle because we were never able to gain paradise because of our disobedience and our desire for something that was technically forbidden from us. I'm not strictly religious. I was raised religious, but I am not strictly religious. I've talked about this in my Vinland Saga series, so I won't delve into it too much here. But I think being punished for wanting to obtain knowledge seems very tyrannical to me. But again, I have talked in depth about this in previous series, so I'm not going to reiterate myself here, but it seems to be we're looking at the introduction of knowledge that has damned Xerxes, but also has damned other countries too, in order to build this alchemical symbol that they're using to gain further control. Part of the desire is to obtain a power that rivals God himself and thus makes God irrelevant. You have the homunculus that are named after the seven deadly sins, which I'm not entirely sure how it all comes together still, but regardless, it's very thematically prevalent that the pursuit of knowledge and greed can lead to a situation in which you damn those around you, because the king of Xerxes was obsessed with this idea of immortality, and this obsession and desire for knowledge led to him essentially making a deal with the devil, which is the dwarf in the flask homunculus, which we now know as the father, and as a consequence damned everyone in Xerxes, and also damned Hohenheim with immortality and his now endless pursuit to try and put a stop to all of this, as well as to, I think, remove his ability of being a Philosopher's Stone, because again, in previous episodes, he's talked about the only thing he wanted was to grow old and to die with his wife and to see his sons grow up. He didn't want to be immortal. He didn't want to see his sons die before him because he's destined to this everlasting life. It's getting very intense. And we also now know, which I probably should have clicked earlier, but I think because they've called so many people sacrifices, it was kind of hard to click onto it. But when we saw the father putting the pieces together of the Elric brothers, Van Hohenheim, and then also Azumi, and then there's one slot left. All these people have seen truth. All these people have sacrificed something, and it's a reminder of their sin. They can never regain it back because it is essentially a punishment. Which again links back to this idea of original sin. In this pursuit of knowledge, they have sinned and they have been damned as a consequence. They have been punished. Izumi lost vital internal organs. The Elric brothers lost parts of their body, and in the case of Al, lost his body. And Hohenheim has been cursed with immortality. In his mind, it's a curse. So all of them have sacrificed something in the pursuit of knowledge, and all of them have gained knowledge at the price of committing a sin and being punished for it. So as to who the next person's going to be, because the only other person to essentially have seen truth is the father, but he's not going to sacrifice himself. So this is probably why they're saying that the candidates are good sacrifices. And then there was the mention of them opening the door of truth because they need one last person to see truth to fulfill their mission. Because they were talking about maybe they should get Roy to open the door. And I was like, is all of this to do with opening the door in general? But no, because the door can be opened in other ways. We've seen how it can be opened. What they need is someone to see truth so that they can complete this circle. But I'm not going to ramble. We're going to get into episode 41. We're hopefully going to see a continuation on from episode 39 because episode 40 kind of took a bit of a tangent, a different direction. So episode 41, we may then see their journey to Briggs and if Al can potentially catch up with them. Hopefully. Oh, Wimry. Dynamite. She's like, put it down. I mean, you kind of need to dawdle. Briggs is being controlled now, so they don't know that, but dawdling would help. Like the prospect of that. In his mind, they're just doing what they've been ordered to. Doesn't mean they're innocent, but it doesn't mean they deserve to die as a result. Yeah. We saw it with the other two. They didn't want to. But you're asking him to sacrifice a crucial part of who he is. The other two that were turned into chimeras, they didn't ask for it. They were forced into it. I don't know if it's necessarily a phase or something that he just really intrinsically believes in. As you just said, they have chosen the hard way. It's harder to allow someone to live than it is to just kill them. So technically, morally speaking, the Elric brothers are right in their decision. I don't think it's simple that you could just chalk it up to them being kids, that they don't understand. They've had to see some horrible shit. They've experienced some severe trauma. Let's be honest. I think their philosophy is based on the value that they see every human life as equal, regardless. They understand the importance of what it means to be alive, of life itself, that they can't be the one to snuff it out. No matter how evil someone is, no matter how dangerous the task ahead may be, they will try and find another way. A way that doesn't result in their friends dying. I can understand both perspectives of it's naive to think that you can exist without killing people, especially with everything that's going on, because that naivety could get the people you care about killed. But at the same time, asking Ed to sacrifice his philosophy, the core aspects of who he is as a person, is incredibly naive too. Because it's not the fact that he isn't aware that it could put people in danger. It's the fact that he thinks there's always another way. There's always a way to be better than those that would just wipe you out in turn. He values human life and the importance of human life, that he doesn't ever want to be the reason for it being snuffed out. He doesn't want to have to live with that responsibility and that guilt. Not because he's weak, not because he's naive, not because he's a child, but because he believes that there are other ways to deal with a situation than just straight up killing someone. Again, as he just said, it's easier to kill someone than it is to reason with them, than it is to keep them alive. Ed could have tried to kill Scar numerous times, but he hasn't. His goal has always been to disable him, to demobilize him. And even here, despite everything that Kimberly's done, despite Kimberly being a horrible person and a danger to everyone, he thinks there is still a way to resolve this without a significant loss of life, without significant casualty.
だが少し羨ましくもあるよ。
賢者の石のことかな。
So a different word?
すべての金属を
Yeah.
金に変え、老人を青年に変える。不老不死と金についてばかりだな。
So basically a philosopher's
スター
stone.
さんのお兄さんが真の練炭術に影響を受けてからですかね。真では不死の人を誠の人、真人と呼びます。完全な人という意味なんですが、金も完全な金属であることから、真人のことを金人と呼ぶこともあります。
I feel the same way. I'm also like, what?
真に錬金術を伝えた人物が、金の髪、金の瞳の不老不死の男だったから。
Who called this? Who called it? I did. That the one that brought alchemy to the east was Hohenheim, and the one that brought alchemy to the west was the father, hence why they are diametrically opposed, that there were two sages and that they were diametrically opposed, and one brought it to the east and one brought it to the west, and they were designed to balance each other because they are a yin and yang force. One is creation, one is destruction, but they can be utilized for creation and destruction. They balance each other if they work together. But the thing is that they aren't working together. They are diametrically opposed right now. Fucking knew it. I 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 am so vindicated because I have been saying this for like episodes. Not necessarily that Hohenheim and the father exactly were the two sages, but that there were two sages, two forms of alchemy. One brought one to the east, one brought one to the west, but because they look alike, somebody said that it was the same person, but it wasn't the same person. I was correct. Sorry, I'm so like proud of myself because with this show, I feel like I haven't really been able to call things. I feel like I've been struggling. So to have been right for so many fucking episodes about that there were two sages, and it was the father and it was Hohenheim, and that they split and they brought one alchemy to the west and one to the east. Big brain.
ようになったとか。へえ。金の髪、金の瞳なんて絵だとあるみたい。
It does, because it's their dad. Oh my god, I'm so vindicated.
眩しい。
よしお前ら、私について。
Oh,
結構雪が深いな。お嬢ちゃん、背中に乗りな。
where's Al? Has he managed to catch up? Because he was having a bit of difficulty in episode 39. Al! She's like, I will save you, I promise.
髪にはまってそのまま埋まっちゃったよ。なんであれがここにいるの？
Briggs isn't safe. Look at her!
山越えって
She's so in love.
なぜそんな無茶を。
緊急連絡があってブリッグズ砦に中央軍が入った。
It's not safe.
アームストロング少将もセントラルに呼び出しを食らったらしい。どこか他の場所に隠れるしかないよ。
どこかってどこだよ。
Back into the mines?
ついてこい。
どこへ行くんだ。
ここからそう遠くない場所にアスベックという村があるはずだ。そこのスラムに同胞たちが身を寄せていると聞いたことがある。
Oh, we're gonna see more Ishvalans.
ブリーさんに怪しまれない？
大丈夫大丈夫。兄さんが何とかしてくれてるから。
第4
Has he made a fake owl
よし揃ったな。
from
で
alchemy?
はそれぞれ関東地区の捜索を開始してくれ。行くぞ。
あいさ。
おいおいアルゴンス君、そこははーいだろう。
いや、しかしこれ動きづらいよ、エドワード君。
Somebody puppeteering from the inside. They're like, I can't move.
早く歩く。
What is that voice? Nissan! Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Oh my god.
北の兵は信用できないからセントラルから連れてきた部下だけで行くそうです。
ち、やつめ気づいたか。
I think Ed's gonna intervene. He's not gonna allow Kimberly to be killed.
いけるか。
この距離なら。
But Kimberly's not stupid. I think he knows.
どうした。
エドワード君が。
何。
They can't shoot Kimberly if Ed's with him.
キンブリー、行動を調べるんならブリッグズ兵に任せた方が良くないか。中は相当入り組んでるみたいだし。
あなたがわざわざ引き止めに来るということはここで当たりですね。
俺はさっさとスカーを。
それとも狙撃手を配置するまでの時間稼ぎですか。
He's not dumb.
気づいてたのか。
Of course he
これだけ周りに
does.
殺気が満ちていれば気づきます。伊達にイシュバール戦を生き残ってませんよ。
キンブリーだけを狙えるか。
はい。
撃て。慎重にな。
あいさ。
He's gonna... Yeah. Fuck. Survived the Ishvalan war for a reason. He's also got a Philosopher's Stone, so I wouldn't be fucking with him. What's interesting, though, is that he could have killed Ed, but... Oh, wait, no, he can't, because Ed's a sacrifice. The father would be pissed. But he could have killed the snipers, but he didn't. So many fucking chimeras. Basically, just presume everyone's a chimera at this point. Oh, I don't like this. He can't see.
向こうさんも見えないってことで。
Well, no, they obviously can.
しくしていろ。鋼の錬金術師。この視界
Jesus.
の悪い中では鼻が利く俺たちからは逃げられんぞ。
Oof.
ヒメラがいる。視界の悪い場所での戦いに慣れてる。雪煙の中入ってくんなよ。
You'll die. Oh! I'm gonna be even shorter.
ダイナマイト。
Wait, is this dry? Oh, it must be.
近寄るのよ。これがなんだかわかるよな。じゃあその硝酸アンモニウムは何でできてんのかな。
簡単だ。硝酸とアンモニア。
It's a science lesson. Gonna knock him out.
何の匂いですか。アンモニア。腹が効きすぎるってのも困りもんだな。
Ammonia is a disgusting smell as well. It's not nice.
人質の心配がなくなった途端これですか。病み上がりで若者の相手をするのは骨が折れそうですね。これを使わせてもらいましょうか。
But you can't. He's needed. You can't dispose of him. You can't dispatch him. The father will be pissed. He is very fast. Oh no! The Philosopher's Stone, though!
賢者の意志はなし。 遠征地も使用不可。
殺さない覚悟。立派なポリシー。
He's gonna be able to heal himself,
それ
isn't
は
he?
戦場においてつけ込まれる隙になる。その甘さがあなたの敗因です。
What the fuck? He had a second one. Because Envy gave him it. I hate that everyone keeps trying to pressure the poor boy into killing them. He's like, you should have just killed me, but I can understand why he doesn't want to. It goes against his moral code. Oh no! Is he gonna save them? Is he gonna help them?
嘘だろ。おい。
Oh my god! Oh my god, oh my god! He can't. Oh my god! Oh my god, it's because they're connected.
やばい。また引っ張られて、魂が。怖い。
起きて。やだ。
So his soul's being pulled back to the body. So like, what do you do in that situation? Oh my god, no. Okay, no, he's still alive. Oh, even now he's thinking about Winry. Even despite everything, he's trying to help them, to save them. They're gonna help him. They have to after what he just did. I'm gonna cry.
この腹に刺さってるのを抜いてくれるやつがいないと困るんだよ。
Isn't pulling it out going to be worse? Because it might be stopping the bleeding. Pulling it out could start the internal bleeding process even more. That's what I mean.
抜いた瞬間、大出血する前に錬金術で塞げ。人体錬成しようとして一通り研究した。
But you've never practiced it. That's the thing.
賢者の石の代わりに。
But the Philosopher's Stone fell down.
寿命がちょいと縮むかもしれねえけど。
Oh,
自
Ed.
分の甘さが招いた結果なら、ケツは自分で拭かなきゃな。自分の命を一種のエネルギー体と考えろ。
Oh.
そう。
Oh.
俺は今、魂一個分の賢者の石。思い出せ。あの時の。
He's so young. He's just a kid. No.
勝手に殺すな。
成功か。
とりあえず血を止めただけの応急処置だ。
じゃあ、
He needs proper help.
いや、そんな暇、みんなが、
You can barely move. They're gonna have to help him. There's no way. They have to. He saved their lives. They have to. The Philosopher's Stone! See? I said it had fallen. Give it to him.
あの変人、俺たちまで巻き添えにしやがって。そうだな。あの野郎とはこれでおさらばとするか。で、こいつはどうする？死なせるわけにはいかねえだろう。
Thank you.
命の恩人なんだから。外へ出たら真っ先に医者を探さないと。ああ。
But they have a Philosopher's Stone now. But does that mean that they're going to be able to get Al's body back sooner than they thought because they needed a Philosopher's Stone in order to accomplish it. Now they actually have it because Kimberly dropped it. They have one. Because Al's soul is being torn from his body, and it kind of looks like his soul may no longer be in the body. It may actually have been pulled, but Ed desperately needs a doctor. He's jerry-rigged a working system, but it doesn't mean that it's going to keep him going. And he's also sacrificed some of his life force in order to keep himself from dying. And that's what was making me so emotional, is that he can't bear the thought of Winry crying, because Winry wouldn't be able to deal with the loss of him, wouldn't be able to deal with the loss of Al either. I am blown away once again. My brain isn't quite fathoming everything that's happening, but I just feel so badly for Ed. Everything he's been put through, and he's just a kid. He's just a boy. He deserves so much better than this, and it's just hard to see him struggle and suffer, and people treat his life as if it's meaningless, whereas he values all life. He values the importance of it, to the point that he even rescues those that have been trying to harm him, have been trying to end his life in turn. Even now, I don't think he'll try and kill Kimberly. I think he'll still try and disarm him. I don't think he will even bring about Kimberly's death, despite the fact that Kimberly very evidently didn't care about whether Ed lived or died. And I think that's the fundamental difference, is that Ed values all life, whereas there are people who are older than him that are jaded by war, jaded by conflict, that they don't value life in the same way. They don't recognize the value in it, in showing mercy and showing benevolence, because it's become so deeply entrenched within them, this idea of death and bringing death to those that oppose you and those that are out to harm you, that they don't realize how much strength it takes to show mercy, to show kindness to those who are your enemy, who are opposed to you. Because Ed still won't kill anyone that tries to kill him. He thinks there's always a better way, and I love that endless optimism and that pursuit of something better, which is tying back to the conversation that Raph was having with Pride, where he was talking about the next generation being better. The next generation would be someone to look out for because they are strong, courageous, in pursuit of what is right. They're unwilling to back down and are constantly striving for a better world, that they are something to marvel at. And he finds himself in awe, and that's when Pride was kind of like, that's being a traitor. Maybe keep that to yourself and don't say anything. I'll not tell the father. But to me, that is emphasizing the philosophy that Ed and Al have, which is the value of human life, that they can't create human life, they can't bring back what is dead, so therefore they vehemently oppose it. They don't believe that they should be the ones to bring about the end of someone's life, because it is so valuable and it's so important and so special that we need to recognize the gift of life rather than seeing it as something that can just easily be discarded and thrown away. But I was so close to breaking down, but I held it together. I'm actually really proud of myself, because that was incredibly emotional, and I genuinely thought Ed was gonna die, and I was like, he can't die. He can't. But with him now being with the two chimeras that have the Philosopher's Stone, and Al's conflict with his body, potentially we could end up having the Philosopher's Stone maybe being used to help Al get his body back sooner. Fingers crossed. But I'm so validated in that the person that brought alchemy to the east was Hohenheim, which means the father was the one that brought alchemy to the west. And that's why Envy was saying you don't even know what power you've been given, you've been granted, because it is the father that granted it to the West, and that's why he was able to switch it off. He was able to prevent alchemy from being used because he is the founder of it in the West, whereas alchemy was founded by Hohenheim. It was taught by Hohenheim. Therefore, it has some fundamental differences, but it is still a form of alchemy. They are still both alchemy, but there are obviously subtle differences between them. And that's why alchemy still worked, because it's not something the father fully knows and fully understands, because it's a form of alchemy that has been specialized by Hohenheim. And it's his gift to the East as a way to counteract what's happening in the West. I think because of their ability to be able to use it to sense when something is off, that there's an imbalance. It's because he knew the threat that the father would pose and wanted to ensure that people could protect themselves, whilst also healing and helping those who are struggling because of the amount of suffering that happened in Xerxes, and having to live with the screams of so many people who have died to grant him immortality likely makes him want to do better and be better, whereas the father is rife on power, control, and authority. But I think that's all I want to say for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. Until next episode, bye!